Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is directed by J.A. Bayona, the man behind The Impossible, The Orphanage, and A Monster Calls. Terrific director, really like his work, and it's once again written by Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly, who wrote the first. And when the volcano on Isla Nublar begins to erupt, threatening the extinction of all the dinosaurs that remain on that island, Owen and Claire mount a campaign to return to the island and rescue the dinosaurs from a second extinction. I wasn't a huge fan of Jurassic World. It was better than Jurassic Park 3. It had some characters that I liked, and it had a few entertaining moments and a good score, but overall it was a disappointing movie for me. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is something I was excited for because of the director, because when you make a film that isn't quite as good as it could be, you are normally able to learn from some of those mistakes and try to make a better film as a result. And in this case, we had a new director, and I was thinking that's what they were going to do. Also, the trailers show Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, and that's always a wonderful sight to see. And I like all the acting talent involved with this film for the most part, and so I was pretty excited. I left the theater very disappointed, even more disappointed than I was with Jurassic World. This film did a lot of things wrong and very little right. In all honesty, my friends and I sat around after the movie talking for a couple hours at a nearby restaurant, and the conversation we had was more than just nitpicking. We weren't just like fanboys sitting there disappointed that we didn't get another movie like Jurassic Park. I actually really like The Lost World. I think The Lost World's a very unique sequel, different than the first. Did fun things, had amazing set pieces, a fantastic score by John Williams, and a great performance by Jeff Goldblum. And I really like Vince Vaughn and Julianne Moore in that film. There's a lot to like in A Lost World. Pete Postlethwaite, that's how you say his last name, rest in peace. Roland, what a great character. Jurassic World didn't have anything that felt that way to me. It didn't have much to feel like grand about. It didn't have any memorable sequences. Fallen Kingdom has even less. This film makes a choice about halfway through to become a different type of film. Now, this was actually a surprise to me because after the first trailer, I didn't watch anymore because everyone said they were very spoilery, and they are. Now that I've seen the film, I went back and I watched the final trailer. 95% of the movie is in that trailer. It's kind of sad, actually, but I'm glad I didn't watch it. So I didn't know what this film does about halfway through. So most of you who have seen these trailers do, and so I'm going to give you a mild spoiler warning. If you do not know what happens after the volcano erupts that we've all seen in that first trailer, I'm about to talk about where the film goes after that. And I don't really consider this a spoiler since the trailers have shown it. It's the halfway point of the movie, and it's really where the film's plot actually gets in motion and where the film absolutely tanks. A rich older man is near death. He's played by James Cromwell, and he feels responsible in a way, and so he is funding this team that goes to the island to retrieve the dinosaurs, to put them on like a sanctuary, but in reality they're going back to this mansion, and there's some evil, greedy corporate schemes that's happening there, and the rest of the film takes place in this mansion. It basically becomes a monster movie in a big house. This could be awesome. The Orphanage is a very good horror film. I love it. The direction is far better than the screenplay, which I found very messy and almost completely devoid of wit or interesting characters. When you look back at the first Jurassic Park, a lot of people talk about the dinosaurs and how great the dinosaurs are, and it's a fun movie. But really the things that I remember the most about that movie were the conversations, the debate around that table about whether or not the dinosaurs should really be brought back to life, or if it was a giant mistake, or if it was a positive thing. Alan Grant coming to terms with how he views dinosaurs, the raptor claw that he throws out of his pocket when he's in a tree with the children. He's able to leave that part of his life behind and focus on the future. There's so much character in that movie, plus awesome dinosaurs. This film is just dinosaurs creeping out of the shadows, and that's it. If you aren't a big fan of Jurassic Park or The Lost World or this franchise, if you don't feel like you care that much, then you might enjoy the film because it's a lot of sequences with dinosaurs and people running. But it's basically like the last 15 minutes of The Lost World, except stretched forever and in one spot. Let's talk about the characters. Chris Pratt as Owen, likable. It's Chris Pratt, but his character has no development. From the beginning of this film, he hasn't changed at all since the last, and by the end of this film, he still hasn't changed. There's barely any development for his character, if any at all. Claire is a bit better than she was in Jurassic World. She doesn't just make mistake after mistake after mistake. Ian Malcolm's in the film for a little bit, and besides that, that's about where the likable characters ended for me, and I found pretty much everyone else insufferable. The villains are cartoon characters that just want money, greedy corporate people that want money, which was so disappointing and so overused. The whole dinosaurs as military weapons subplot actually comes back, despite the fact that I don't remember a single person after seeing Jurassic World saying, yeah, that was a really good idea, militarize raptors. There's a reason that you don't see the army in today's actual world training lions or tigers. But once again, we're back to that subplot for some reason. There's a character named Franklin Webb, who is a young kid who works at a call center with Bryce Dallas Howard, who goes to the island despite his incredible fear of getting on a plane. He's afraid of everything. He's prone to panic attacks, but he's there basically to access some of the computer technology, despite the fact that Claire used to run the whole park and she should be able to access everything herself. She has to have this buddy of hers from a call center go, who's afraid of virtually every sound, and he screams and he cries for the entire film. Couldn't stand him. Could not believe they actually wrote a character like that in this movie. Could you imagine, like in The Lost World, for instance, Ian Malcolm's young daughter? She's a little bit scared, but I wouldn't exactly say she was annoying. At least she actually does something. Say what you want about the gymnastics moment. It's like 12 seconds of the movie and it's sort of out of place, but at least she actually does something. This character, Franklin Webb, is just there for comic relief. Why do you need comic relief when you have Chris Pratt? Chris Pratt's very funny. You don't need another comic relief character, especially when that character is insufferable. At the beginning of the film, there's a moral dilemma. Do we save these creatures from extinction? Do they have that right since they were created by man in a lab? And the film basically talks about it for maybe 2 minutes and then just glosses it over entirely. Ted Levine's character is completely wasted. He's in the film to go, I'm Ted Levine, and that's about it. He has one scene that you think is going to be really awesome, but no. In regards to violence, the film is almost bloodless. It doesn't seem to have any guts, like, no pun intended, but it just doesn't really seem like they really wanted to push that boundary. Like, they're so afraid of showing kids anything remotely violent. I'm just remembering Jurassic Park and Samuel L. Jackson's bloody stump of an arm on Ellie Sattler's shoulder, and there's nothing like that in this movie. It's so tame, which was a major disappointment as well. There's no remarkable sequences. In the first film, you have that amazing T-Rex breakout, and it feels like it builds. As soon as the power goes out to that last shot of the T-Rex roaring, that whole 20 minutes just feels like it's building and building and building to this amazing crescendo. Even in The Lost World, with the trailer dangling over the cliff and the 2 T-Rexes, the baby T-Rex, all of that feels like it's building and building, and it's great fun. There's nothing like that in this film or in Jurassic World. It's just a bunch of scenes that have dinosaurs. I don't really recall any remarkable moments in this movie, which is so sad. The CGI is admittedly very impressive, and they've done some incredible things. There's a great sequence with a animatronic Blue, the raptor, that was very impressive. But beyond the money that's being thrown at the screen, there's nothing to take away. There's no emotional core. There's no interesting conversations to have. It's just a dinosaur monster movie, which is just so bland. The film feels like a placeholder, like it was made just to make the next one. Like we wanted to make this one just so eventually we could have what we want to do soon. And that's just what it feels like. It feels like a necessary film. Like it's just a filler movie or something, which is just why? I mean, it's Jurassic Park. And you can ask me, what did you expect? It's a dinosaur movie. What did I expect? Jurassic Park is one of my all-time favorites. It's a classic. I expect something at least moderately close to that. Now, there are some very specific things I want to talk about, but they are definitely spoilers, and so I'm going to save that for a spoiler review, which I will publish in a few days, because I have to talk about them. But there are some decisions made towards the end of this film that it blows my mind in regards to stuff that characters do. I didn't hate this movie. It's too good looking and too well made from a directorial standpoint for me to hate it. But from a story standpoint and from a screenplay standpoint, this movie is a colossal mistake. It has pointless visual callbacks to the first Jurassic Park film that are so on the nose, it was very obvious. It follows a very similar plot as The Lost World. It even has a few scenes that feel straight out of Jurassic Park 3. Now, Jurassic Park 3 used to be my least favorite film in this franchise, but I gotta be real with you, I think I'd rather watch 3 over this. Again, for a few reasons. 3 doesn't mess with the continuity of the others. This film kind of does. It makes you hate other characters from the others by telling you decisions they apparently made once that make no sense. Also, Jurassic Park 3 is only like 92 minutes long or something with credits, and this film's over 2 hours. One last thing, and I'm ending the review with this for a reason, because Trevorrow has stated that while he is not necessarily wiping The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 from canon with his film Jurassic World, he chose not to acknowledge them. Apparently they're still in canon, but he chose not to acknowledge them. Now, if they're still in canon, which they should be, that means that Isla Sorna exists. The volcano is on Isla Nublar. Now, according to canon, all of the dinosaurs that were on Isla Sorna were moved to Isla Nublar when Jurassic World finished construction. But Isla Sorna is still an island without a volcano that's active. So why make some elaborate move of the dinosaurs to mainland when you can just move them to Isla Sorna? Oh, I know why. Because they want to make Jurassic World 3. I'm going to give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a C-. I could give it a lower grade, I really could, but the film is extremely well directed with some really amazing visuals, which unfortunately most of you have seen in the trailer already, but I didn't. But now that I went back and watched the trailer, I'm like, holy shit. I feel bad for the internet for seeing all that. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about a lot in a spoiler video, so look forward to that very soon. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.
I'll tell you the problem with the scientific power that you're using here. It didn't require any discipline to attain it. You know, you read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well...